Hey everyone, welcome back to Reading with Tatiana. Today I'm doing my May wrap-ups for 2023. I was fortunate enough to be able to read 5 books this month, so picking up on that reading slump I had the previous month. I have one-star review, 1 3-star review, and 3 4-star reviews. Before I go into a summary of each book, I always appreciate if you're watching this to please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also comment down below if you have read any of these books or have any recommendations for me for the following month. I'm doing my wrap-ups in chronological order. So I started the month intentionally with a young adult romance. I just wanted like an easy read to get myself back into reading and get out of a slump, and sometimes you just need a YA romance. So this is Soulmates by Susan Lee. I gave this a 3 out of 5. I will have to say though, if I was a teenager, I'd probably give this a 4 or a 5. It just was so cute and I loved it. I do want to preface, I did live in Korea for 2 years, so I think I have like an affinity for all things that are Korean. So this book, we basically meet Hannah. She is Korean American, and her childhood best friend, I believe his name is Jacob. I forgot his Korean name, unfortunately. But he left California to go back to Korea, and he's now like a huge K-drama star. So basically, they reunite in grade 12 of high school, and basically, it's just a romance of sorts. I love it. I think if you're a Korea boo, you love K-pop, K-drama, K-culture, this book is a really fun read. The next book I read, I surprisingly gave it a 4 out of 5. It is The Lifeboat Number 8, An Untold Story of Love, Loss, and Surviving the Titanic by Elizabeth Kay. Why I was surprised I gave it a 4 out of 5? Because it was a novella. I think it was honestly maybe 60 or 70 pages. Again, trying to get myself out of the reading slump. And this review for this book isn't on my channel because it is my monthly contribution to Literary Gladiators channel, which I'll link down below. But this book was surprising to me that I enjoyed it so much just because it was so short and like it's nothing new. It's a Titanic. I know what happens. The ship sinks. Spoiler alert, sorry if you didn't know that. But this book was just so interesting because basically it talks about the survivors of lifeboat number 8. And Elizabeth Kay is usually a journalist who writes really long pieces of topics of interest. And so for this book, she wrote like a bit longer about the survivors and each profile of lifeboat number 8 passengers. And I really enjoyed it because, I only know Jack and Rose's fictional characters from James Cameron's movie Titanic, but it's really cool to actually know real stories and how all these people came to be mostly first class passengers, and kind of also seeing or learning how it was crazy to me that there was so much time for maybe the unthinkable to happen, or unthinkable to happen, I guess, where a lot more people could have survived. But a lot of these passengers on Titanic, especially the first class, just didn't think anything bad could happen to them because they're first class passengers, which is so baffling to me. And there's a crazy statistic as well in the book that like more than, I don't want to say it was 80, but it was like pretty high of like 60, 70, 80% of first class passengers did not make it, which is so unfortunate to me. If you're looking for a quick read or to learn more about Titanic, I really suggest this book because it's super easy to read, and it was interesting. The next book I read is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. This is my second ever Agatha Christie's book, and I think for her works, it's also kind of like a comfort read or a cozy read for me, just because you kind of know what you're getting in when you go into it. They're quite quick reads. However, it's still a mystery and you still feel like the detective while reading them. So in this book, it's a classic ensemble cast. It's a murder mystery. You're trying to figure out who is the killer. I just love this book because the book starts with a poem called 10 Little Indians or 10 Little Soldiers, which I found from Bart, depending what year the version you got was published. And basically the poem tells you what's going to happen in the book, but you're still kind of shocked while it happens. And it was just a really fun book. And if you enjoy murder mystery books, I really recommend Knives Out and Glass Onions, which are more contemporary movies of the murder mystery genre. But of course there are probably other ones from the past, I just can't think of them right now. The next book I read is All My Rage by Sabna Tahir. I also gave this a 4 out of 5. This is a young adult's book, and again, I think if I was a young adult, this book would have been maybe a 5 out of 5, to be honest. This book was pretty heavy, had dealt with really heavy topics, but I think it's really good, especially I think if you're a young person who's struggling and just seeing that representation. So basically, we meet Salahuddin, who is Pakistani American, and he lives with his mom and dad, where his dad's an alcoholic, his mom has a kidney disease, and they run a motel that's not doing so well. He also has a childhood friend, and she's in Pakistan, and her family died in an earthquake, but she was saved by her uncle to be brought to America. However, her uncle kind of refutes all Muslim and Pakistani culture. She's kind of caught between the two worlds. So the Salahuddin and her cross paths, become friends, and basically this talks about their trials and tribulations of being a young adult in Pakistan as a Pakistani Muslim American. I really love this book. However, it didn't affect me, but when I read reviews online, I think it comes with a heavy trigger warning with drug, alcoholism, sexual abuse, Islamophobia, just everything like that. So if you read this book, it is a bit heavier, but I think it is a great read, and I would actually recommend this book. The last book I read was for my in-person book club in Calgary. It is Where Waters Meet by Zhang Lane. Unfortunately, I feel so bad because I had such high hopes going into this book because it's about Chinese people that came to Canada, about mother and daughter and their connection, and also historical fiction, which is my favorite genre. However, it just missed every mark, and I gave this 1 out of 5. I'm just so disappointed by myself for not enjoying it, and also by the book. Basically, we meet Phoenix, who is a bit older, and she marries a white Canadian man, and her mother, Rain, is not doing so well. So very early on, the mother dies, and from old age and Alzheimer's. So Phoenix just feels this disconnect and wants to learn more about her past and her mom. So she goes back to China to interview her Auntie May, her mom's sister, and to learn more about her mom's history. But this book just fell flat because I think for me, the premise was good, but the execution was poor. The husband's role was pointless in the book, in my opinion, but he kind of started the book and ended the book, which made no sense to me. And also when the daughter was sharing the mom's perspective of her past, like there's no way she could have got all that internal dialogue just from interviewing her aunt. So I think this book would have been done better if she stumbled across journal entries or something like that from her mom. That would make more sense to me. So yeah, this book is really just disappointing. I don't know if I would recommend it unless you enjoy historical fiction and also set in China. Thanks for watching until the end of my wrap-ups for May 2023. If you watched until the end, please hit the subscribe button. And if you've read any of these books, please comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Bye everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.